26 days in a row.
Aren't we doing well? 31 days of August challenge, and we're 26 days in.
I'm actually kind of shocked, and I can't really remember all the days, right? There's so many now that I actually literally can't remember all the days.
But the thing is, it's been the case so far that we haven't had a topic. We haven't, I think maybe one occasion we had a bit of a filler, but only because we were so busy on that day.
Yeah.
But we still turned up. So we've managed to have something interesting to say for each one, which is really, really cool.
At least we think it's interesting.
Well, if anybody disagrees, then please don't bother leaving a comment.
Yeah, and today's kind of a dour topic.
Yeah. Mergers.
Yeah, mergers and acquisitions in EventTech is wreaking a horrible toll on not only those companies and the people that work there, but also all of the small and medium-sized associations, right, that don't have the budgets once these things happen.
And some of the there's a couple of companies who sort of overstretched themselves, thinking, "Great, COVID's raking in loads of money for us. Let's go buy everything," and it's not gone as planned.
The Death Star.
The Death Star.
Hop in. Yeah. Moving through the galaxy, just gobbling stuff up. Because we're going to kind of hit on a bunch of different acquisitions, but that alone, they've killed two awesome products, right? When they acquired Attendify, which was the best mobile app virtual platform for small. I had 11 clients using Attendify when they acquired it. Then they went ahead and did the old sunset deal and got rid of it. And now it's nowhere to be found. And now 11 organizations that I work with are now like, what? You know, you've got to, there's nothing that was that good, that is that good in that price range. Right now, they either have to go with a lesser option or pay a ton more money for the same functionality.
Yeah, it's a shame. And of course, they did overstretch themselves, thinking that, well, it's like they didn't even anticipate that there would be an end to the COVID crisis. They just thought, brilliant, let's keep going. And then when it eased off and people went back to face, money dried up.
Well, and that was such stupid thinking. Sorry. It truly was dumb thinking, because, you know, when we made the shift to virtual, right? And I mean, we had been doing virtual for a long time. I think our first one was in 08 or 10 or something like that. So it wasn't really a big deal for us to make that switch. But I knew it had an end, right? I'm like, as soon as COVID is under control, or at least becomes part of daily life, everyone is going to go back, or at least try to go back to just regular in-person meetings. And the fact that these companies didn't see that writing on the wall, management needs to have a hard think.
Yeah, I mean, some of the industry shows I went to last year, everybody's like, "Oh, it should be better next year. Can't wait to be face to face." So it's already being talked about, looked forward to. It was something everybody wanted to happen. But as you say, it's like the bigger companies who've done all these acquisitions and mergers. It's like, no, we don't have to worry about it. It'll be fine.
Well, I think the smart play for everyone was make your money, your tall money, while you can, right? While that was all happening, knowing that it was going to be hybrid coming out the other side. And then, you know, you kind of hit that peak that allows you to get everything perfect. And then when you come out into hybrid, that hybrid is going to be around for years and years and years and years. In fact, I don't think we'll ever go back to in-person only.
No, the COVID thing has really changed the way companies think. Well, not every company, obviously.
But Hopin also again, they're not telling anybody what they're doing, but they also acquired Boomset, which is more of an they had the virtual thing they did, but that was kind of relatively new. But I mean, their bread and butter was you know, badging and check-in, right? And so Hopin had the ability to go be at your event. But I don't even think Boomset's around anymore. I think they did the old sunset on that too.
When did that happen? The sunset, was it?
For Attendify, it was just like, it was July 1, I think.
Okay, because what can happen is that a company does an acquisition or a merger, but then when the money starts running out because they haven't anticipated the change in the business world and in the events world, the first people to be made redundant are the new acquisitions, the new talent. So therefore, when they've bought like Boomset and
Oh,
then the problem set in, the Boomset staff are made redundant, they go away. So all they've got left is a letterhead of paper. That's
all
it.
right. Oh, I had a special guest coming in. There's a special guest. Hey, special guest, if you hear me, wave, because we're bringing you in live.
Ooh.
I get the fingers staying. Hold up 1 minute.
Oh, who could it be? It's not Darth Hoppin, is it?
Yes, and we can talk about Angela's comment, which virtual events complement face to face. Absolutely, they do. They absolutely do. And again, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole of that, but every in-person event now has to have hybrid. It's because so many people just don't want to go to events anymore.
Well, the thing is, what's the whole COVID experience is brought forward is the fact that is accessibility
Yes.
is now much, much more important. There are people who do not wish to travel vast distance to turn up for a day's event or 2-day event. They don't want to be part of the carbon footprint. They have maybe health or mental health issues. The hybrid is making it more appealing to more people.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've always liked hybrid, but all right, are we bringing you in? Can I get a thumbs up? All right, here she comes.
Well, that's a bit much for first thing in the morning. Good grief.
And now I get so excited I'm clicking on the overlay. But we're talking mergers and acquisitions, and we kind of I don't know how much of that you were able to hear.
Oh dear.
But we talked about Hopin and the Boomset and Attendify. But let's run through a list of all of the acquisitions that have happened lately-ish, right? You get Hopin acquired Attendify and Boomset. MeetingProfs merged with Eventry, and then they acquired EventCore. Six Connects acquired Eventry. Cadmium acquired Event Rebels. Swap Card acquired Avolio. I don't know what the hell Avolio is. WebEx or Cisco.
I do. Avolio is Atlanta-based reg company. That was a different name.
Okay. Then we've got WebEx or Cisco acquiring Socio. Intrado acquired Hub. And then Broadcast Med acquired Digital. Now, we all remember Digital, right?
They gave me my scholarship in 2013 to be a part of the first class of digital event strategist certification.
Yeah.
So and 2013, everybody.
They were actually did virtual before anyone else was even thinking about doing it.
They didn't even understand it. No one even comprehended the whole thing.
But now that company, Broadcast Med, have taken Digital out of our world, and now they're only doing the medical shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is good for them, I think, because and I don't have a couple minutes, but I think because Digital was so focused on data, so focused on library, housing and storage and all the things that our industry on the other side was just coming to play to get to understand. So I think on the medical side, it's brilliant for them to be there.
Yeah, but it did hurt all of the non-medical organizations.
Yeah, I totally agree. Agree. Well, hey, I think, you're early adapter. You either get it or you don't, and you got to make your money where you got to make your money.
There you go.
Fair enough. But at least they haven't disappeared totally like the other companies.
No, and they're still, kind people. And I mean, come on, that the medical field has an entire sector of MeetingProfs and EventProfs who service and handle them. So they're not out completely.
Yeah.
They're just focused.
Well, and I also don't begrudge any company that gets bought, right? Like if you look at Michael and Attendify, good on you, man.
Yeah, try and it's great. I mean, I'm happy with them. The ones that I'm not happy with is when they go dark, with the tech that was so fabulous. Um, I'll let it remain nameless for a few reasons, but there is a technology that literally focused on event management for real, and in 20 I wanna say it was 2014, 15, 14, 15, somewhere up in there. They were acquired by one of the large ones,
Was it Cvent?
and they disappeared and it went dark, and I've never seen it since then. They may have taken parts of it, but it
Sure.
definitely went. I mean, everything went, and I was so hurt, so disappointed because we had just started talking about them. They had come down from Canada to I'm giving data points, so come down from Canada to a certain industry event. We put them on Front Street. We talked about how fabulous they were, and then not long after that, they got swallowed up. And the swallow up part is not the issue. It's the fact that you're making this tech go dark and you're really not making your tech
Any better?
fabulous anymore. And then, I
Well,
know that's going to lead us to Keith telling everyone that we're going to be talking about event management too soon.
yes, we
Very
are.
soon. Very soon.
But like Cvent, 123 sign up, right? I think that was the name of the or 123 Reg or Reg 123 or whatever. They bought that company. That was the worst acquisition I've ever seen because literally Cvent only acquired it for the customer base. Even though it was the better solution,
Yeah,
they
and
bought it.
that's one of the examples that I would like to give, but this company got bought before that one.
Yeah. Well, and I don't care who I piss off, so whatever. The right, but I mean, that was truly it was the better product,
It
and
was.
I was like, oh, okay, they'll take this really
It
awesome
was, and it
technology,
would really yeah,
roll it into
and
there.
I haven't s and there are a lot of people who endeared their staff and their service and not just the product itself, so,
But
but
then,
I'm seeing that shifting now. I'm seeing that a lot of event tech companies, realize that and are trying to do better, um even with talking to us about some of their challenges, and hopefully they'll do more in the future to listen to us around what we think can fix the some of the challenges. So
but it's important to recognise that yeah, some companies get bought up for the customer base, but also for the talent as well.
yeah,
Yes. And for the talent and the actual product, because sometimes there are acquisitions like when Eventry that whole meeting play and they just did that merger. That was I see that, right? Because you put those two things together and you come out with something really awesome on the other side. But what happens is, all right, bye, special guest.
no, I want you all to realize that not that special. These gentlemen are far more special than I am. I'm just honored to be asked to be on, and they know I'll hop on anytime I can. But for your audience, remain vigilant around putting our event tech companies who service us so wonderfully, and I love them, to task around the things that we need to make our industry greater as a whole. And, it would just be nice that those acquisitions are not just business deals and money deals, that they are for the greater good. But
We hope
we'll
anyway.
see.
All right, now we're gonna continue on bashing some things.
All right. Glad I could bring a little balance.
See ya.
All right. Off to a great day.
Thanks,
Bye.
Steph. Bye.
Bye.
So that was awesome.
That's cool. Yeah.
So okay, but we actually had some points on why are these companies doing this, right? What are the benefits of mergers and acquisitions, right?
Yeah.
One we've already talked about, which is the customer base, right? You can just acquire that, which in a lot of cases could be worth a lot of money.
Yeah. Two companies might be struggling, but feel that if they merged, they would have a stronger base.
Yeah,
End up in a stronger position by working as a whole as opposed to two separate.
yeah. And then you've got the Cisco example, right? Where I was actually hoping they would take the better solution and roll it into their product, which is what they didn't. But to gain those services that you don't currently offer, so Hopin, got Boomset and Attendify. What they've done with it, I don't know, but those are two services they need.
Yeah. Well, I think you don't. If they've acquired for talent, then they're probably hoping that they can eventually produce a better product based on the existing one they've merged with. But then they've gone through redundancy, so you don't know that those staff are still around.
Yeah.
Shame.
Market share. Could you imagine if Coke and Pepsi merged? They would have what, 90% market share?
Yeah, it would taste awful though. Oh.
Yeah, it kind of would.
So what would that be? Coke ski?
No, that would actually be new Coke.
Or it would just be Poke. I don't know. It's really weird. Okay,
Right.
suggestions on the postcard too. And there's also diversity for extra revenue.
Yes.
You know,
So
if the company's doing really well, it's got good income coming in, you merge or acquisition, and you've got some more money coming
yeah,
in.
and I don't know if we're going to come to any, like, normally you start these things and we end it with like this wonderful conclusion, right? And I don't know if we're going to have a good conclusion on this, because when as this is happening, small and medium-sized associations, which are my market, which is what I know the most about, I mean, it hurts, right? Because they're losing tools that they use every day. And we got an awesome comment from Angela, which is it wouldn't be allowed in the UK because of the Monopolies Commission. Well, that doesn't matter here in the US, right? In the US, yes, we actually do watch for things like monopolies, but honestly, in these types of numbers, right? These aren't, it's not Coke and Pepsi merging, right? It's not.
No, it's not massive businesses merging. This is a small outfit who've been going for like a year or two, coming up with a great product, which then gets recognized by a much larger company and then bought up, and then either they keep the talent, keep the customer base, and in some rare times they keep the product. Yeah, because that actually comes to the point of growing market share.
Continue.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so if you merge or acquire a product that's got a huge customer base, that means you've got your other services could then be marketed to them.
Yeah. But in the end, I don't know. But what does it mean? What does it mean for the industry, right? All of these mergers and acquisitions are not helping, right? They're actually exacerbating problems that we've had for a long time, right? The event tech adoption, which has always been a problem in our industry, right? Meeting planners are the most tech averse group as a whole. There are certainly exceptions to the rule. They're always leery to try new technologies, which is why Excel is still our #1 event planning tool, because it's tried and true and it's not going anywhere. With all of these mergers and acquisitions, planners and planning departments, they're going to be, they're risk averse, right? And they don't want to go all in on a product that may not be there in 6 months.
The thing is, you're trying to change their behavior. So if they've got an established way of doing things and it works and other people understand it and they can make it work for themselves, these tech companies are trying to change behavior. Instead of having a notebook and a pen, they're trying to get you to fill out a digital form. Pen and paper's everywhere. You haven't got a problem with it. You make a note, you're done. If you then have to get a laptop or a tablet and a pen and stuff, it gets complicated. Now, the reason why we don't have a conclusion is because it's not done yet.
No.
A lot of the news stories that I've dug up were like from July, early August, about all these. Maybe Hoppin's been doing it for a little while now, but mainly in the last 2 or 3 months that these.
Yeah, but you know what? Just like the Death Star, the rebel ships are in the.
They're in the zone. They're coming. Yeah. But we haven't finished. It's just not finished. So there is no conclusion because we don't know how it's going to pan out. It's not in view yet.
No,
There's going to be more mergers, more acquisitions.
I don't even think we're at the peak yet. Like, if you're looking at a bell curve, I think we're still on the front end of the bell curve as far as mergers and acquisitions go.
Yeah.
I'm not going to call out any companies that I think are ripe for the picking. But there are a bunch of them. But here, I do have a happy note though.
Good.
there are still people that are innovating, right? I am still seeing some really cool stuff for meetings and events coming out of the WordPress world. There are some really great plugins that are brand new. So that's really exciting. I'm not seeing any new mobile apps or anything like that, but who knows? They could be around the corner. People could pop up with them to fill that hole, left by Attendify. Eventy is one. It's not as easy to use as Attendify, but it's good. Could be better.
Well, they're gonna mature. They're gonna sort of improve as they go along. Sorry,
I said you hope that they continue to improve.
Just to briefly address Angela's comment, it seems there's an aversion to new and better technology. Maybe they need to use their imaginations a bit more with their new stuff. Yeah, but no, because there is no. I don't think event planners are adverse. It's just they've got a learned behavior of using a particular way of doing things. Right. So, like as I mentioned, like a pen and paper.
I might have to say it's an aversion.
The thing is, you've got to persuade. The tech companies are coming up with a different way of doing something, and you have to change your behavior to use it, and then it'll cost something to do that. Also, if you're an event planner, either you or a small team, and you're working with a large association, that large association is going to have systems that you will have to use. And if that happens to be a pen and paper or an Excel spreadsheet, you haven't got any choice. So
we have
a version as such.
Well, and there's also fear, right? Or what I don't know how to explain this, but we had a client that had used Cvent for years. And actually they liked it. It was fine. But their contract was up. They were using a new CRM system and it wasn't able to talk to Cvent system. Again, this is going back a few years. So they looked at all of the event registration platforms that were out there and they settled on one because that one was willing to work with them to get their CRM connected. And they connected it. And at the time that event registration platform had a pretty moderate price point. So it was a win-win for everybody, right? They spent a little money to get these two things talking. They were spending less than they were when they were using Cvent. So they were really happy. Well, over the time, that other registration product, the pricing has gone up and up and up and up. But now they're married to it because they did all of that custom integration.
Yeah. That's the thing. If it's a young company, they'll be willing to do the integrations. And they'll take and that gets them locked in. But then the bigger companies can say, no, that's the way we do it. You have to change.
Yeah. So, I know that we're going to be coming up on our 30 minutes pretty soon. I don't know that this is a story that has no conclusion.
No, it's not. The current landscape is mergers and acquisitions haven't finished yet. There's going to be a big shakeout as face-to-face really, really establishes itself. And more people are going, no problem with traveling, no problem with turning up for a 2-day, 3-day event. I'll do it. These tech companies have got to start taking that into consideration. And if they don't, they're going to get bored up. They're going to merge. So as the landscape changes, we just haven't seen the end of it yet.
Well, and I think you can kick me after. I think my thing is right now for a lot of organizations and planners and whoever, there might be a wait and see kind of attitude, right? If you are in the market for a new event management or event registration platform, is now the time to go to something new, or do you get one more year out of what you're using, knowing that we're at that point, we're going to be almost 2 years post the worst of COVID. COVID won't be over, but worst of it, hopefully the shakeout at that point, is done and you're going to have a little bit better idea of who's going to be sticking around.
I have a question then. Would it get to the? Would it be a case that all these specialty event tech companies are going to come up with these amazing solutions, which may live for quite a while or get bored up quite quickly? Will people go, I can't keep up with that? We'll use something and we'll bend it to our needs. For example, Evernote. For example, Canva. For example, all these other lovely platforms that have been around for a long time that people have just bent to their use without using an event specific solution.
Sure. Actually, 90% of events are planned with stuff that isn't event, right?
Yeah.
90% of events are planned using Excel.
Well, this is the thing. So when these companies come up with these amazing solutions, if they don't address the exact needs of these of the event world, they're either going to get bought up or disappear.
Yeah, it's a subject for another episode, but the learning curve, so many event technologies try and shove the kitchen sink in and don't. They shouldn't, right? If you have an event management platform, don't try and put registration in it or make it totally optional, because most planners already have something for registration that they're very, very comfortable with, right? It would be better to have an event management platform that talked to all the registration systems rather than having their own. That was always a fault I had with Attendify, right? When they came out with their registration product, it was a decent registration product, but it was so freaking expensive. No one wanted to use it, right? So they kept their normal registration option, used Attendify as their virtual platform and mobile app, and then you'd have to CSV all of your attendees into it. But okay, it's one step. It's not a huge deal.
The thing is, I mean, for example, if you're using like WordPress with some registration plugins, you have yourself a cheap solution. Okay, so the only downside was exporting data as CSV and importing into something else. But if that saves you a few $1,000s, you do it.
Yeah, and if you have the people who can do it, right? So
well, yeah. Oh, you'd always find somebody who can do it with WordPress. But the idea being, if there's something you have to do in the middle, like export CSV, comma separated values, into another platform, well, if you're not spending $5,000 to do it, you'll do it. Simple as that.
Yes.
So,
and what a lovely way to end, because we've just chewed up 30 minutes, had a special guest.
Briefly.
Knocked a few companies around.
Yeah, bash a few. But yeah, not even come up with a conclusion, which is really cool. But anyway, whatever. Anyway.
We're like those frustrating, television shows that end after the first season and they were expecting to have season 2.
Yeah. Those ones where they get to the end, you think, oh, something mysterious is going to happen. We'll have an answer in season 2, and season 2 never happened. Hanging. It's terrible. But anyway, so we got a website, haven't we?
Yeah, bullet-list.com. See, I wasn't going to do it today, Bob. I wasn't going to do
it. Yes, you were. Anyway, we're on Facebook as well, as in the Bullet List group. And you can also what happened to the blue background?
Well, Tess came on, so we had 3 people. So I.
Oh, right. Okay. Those
all those production skills I have, man, for producing all those virtual events.
Yeah.
And we're going to actually close this episode with Angela's comment, her last comment, because it was brilliant. So give everybody the rest of the spiel.
Oh, yes. So for updates of when this next episode will be happening, which is probably the same time tomorrow, the Planner My Facebook page, the Event Planner news page, and also don't forget to check out our YouTube channel where you can subscribe, and don't forget to hit that little bell icon as well.
And tomorrow we're talking music.
Oh, it's Music Club Day tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow we're not talking about planning unless the planning comes up while we're talking movies. Now, this is Angela's comment. I'm going to show this up here. Right? Instead of mergers, there should be more collaboration. This is if all of these softwares, if all of the smaller people got together so that all of their solutions would talk, that would be a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
So thank you for that closing thought, and we will see everybody tomorrow.